Alright, next up is the short bus. This is my my trail truck. I just actually rebuilt this with Wraith axles, so I don't even know if it works. So I kind of hope it does, but I'll have to try it out pretty soon here to find out. Otherwise, I'm just feeding you guys a bunch of misinformation. Just got normal body clips for that. Got a hood scoop on here. It's pretty sweet. That's from Ride Makers. It's kind of a non-hobby grade RCs, but they've got some pretty cool accessories that kind of work. This is the short bus. It's a Parma school bus body, painted yellow for a short bus. I got a wire in there and some LEDs that I put in the scoop there. And underneath is, I guess it's a Wroncho. It's a pair of Wraith axles under a honcho. Like I said, I just changed this last week and I haven't had a chance to try it yet. I hope it works okay. I did have to do some pan hard because I was lazy. I had to build, or I had to, the skid I can't really flip around because of some of the screws are rusted and stripped out, and I really didn't want to deal with that. So the skid I couldn't flip around. So the axles actually have to be on the same side as the transmission, because I had already had the axles mounted before I realized that the drive shaft angle was going to be an issue, and I had to do pan hard on the axles and all kinds of stuff. So I did not want to redo that. So I kind of got lazy, and I just hope it works well. The lower link here, these ones are Delrin. I made these a long time ago, just Delrin rod. Heated them up to band them, and then they're just into some Revo rod ends. The fronts are just stock axial links, a little bit of spacers. Like, this is a super ghetto truck. I just throw it together however I can to get out. These are some LEDs that are hooked up to an LED controller on the top, so that I can have them flash and go various colors. They're RGBs, so they can blend all kinds of colors into them. This servo up front is, I've got it mounted on the front bumper here, kind of an axle mount thing. That's a 5645. I did some minor waterproofing on it, but not really anything major, and that was like a year ago, and it's working fine still, so I'm happy with it. Got some lights on the front, just zip tied on there. Those I just threw on there because we went for a night trail run the other day, so I needed to have something on there, and it was pretty easy to do. I just got those off eBay. It's actually on an aluminum backing, so they're pretty good. I've got a Traxxas receiver in here. Goes with my Traxxas 2.4 link. Cheap radio for the trail. Don't need to take anything expensive on the trail, and you don't need to take anything that you can wreck on the trail. Sidewinder SV3 waterproof. I just threw that in there recently as well. I've run it a couple times, never submerged or anything. Also worth mentioning, I've got a BEC in there. So my radio and my BEC, I did use Corrosion X in attempt to waterproof them. I dipped it and let it dry, and then dipped it again and let it dry, and did a couple of coats. So I've had them out in wet conditions, snow and stuff, but not submerged yet. I'm not too sure on that yet. I will do it eventually, I'm sure, but I'm gonna try to delay it. So I've got the Castle SV3 with the 4600 kV motor in there, some 32 pitch gearing so that it's not going to strip out, and that 32 pitch gearing is hooked up to this RC 4-wheel drive AX2 chassis. This is a 2-speed, that's why it's got a servo up there. It's just a cheap Traxxas servo, waterproofed around the edges, just the cheapest thing I could find. And then this linkage, I can't remember what it's for, like a brake or throttle linkage or something like that for the T-Max, I think it was. It works really good if you don't have adjustable EPAs adjustable EPAs for your third channel on your radio. If you want to use a cheap radio for the trail, then you don't need to have adjustable EPAs. It's not going to burn out your servo. This is just the cheapest servo I could find. I don't know, it came stock in one of my rustlers that I got like 5 years ago. Traxxas 2018. It works just fine though for shifting. It really doesn't, all it needs is movement. It doesn't need speed, it doesn't need torque, it really doesn't need anything. It just has to be able to move. So I've got that hooked up for the 2-speed in the transmission, and with the 4600 kV motor, the transmission 2 speeds are really far apart, so it still crawls fairly well. It does have some cogging at points, but it's also got the speed, which I like. I'm more of a basher than a trail or scale guy or whatever. I just want to go out there and break stuff, have fun. Well, not break stuff, but have fun and beat it up and stuff like that. So I don't really care for the slow and trail thing. These shocks, I have no idea what they are. I think they're Energy something. I just got them from a buddy because I needed something to throw on there. I did have big bores on here, but I stole them for the comp crawler. That was a little more important at the time. Up here on the top of the link mount here is, or the body mount. Yeah, this is the LED controller for the lights. LED lights underneath, and then I just strap a 3-cell, one of my comp crawler batteries, 850 mAh, up in the top there, and then that runs that for at least an hour usually. It is a lot of draw because I've got lights on the rear, lights on the front, and all the underglows, so it does draw a fair amount of power. Here's my panhard. I thought this was kind of a good idea. I just took this piece, which is actually a shock mount for an XR10. I had a bunch of these kicking around because I mean they come with the stock XR10 chassis, and I don't use that anymore, and I've got several of them kicking around, so that actually bolted right in with the link mount on the AR60 axles. I just had to put some longer bolts so that they still hold the link mount on there, and then you just run a link up to the chassis. This one's not perfect. And then up at the chassis, what I did was I used just a servo horn or a servo mount and bolted it through the chassis so that it holds it there. So what that does is makes it so that there's no side-to-side movement while I've only got one link up and one upper link that goes up to the chassis, because I couldn't because the drive shaft angle was in the way. So it helps as well with the front. If you have the servo mounted on the chassis, then it helps do the same thing with the front. You only need the one link, and then it helps so that you don't kind of bump steer, because your servo, if you hit the suspension, your servo is going to move up and down, and that's going to push your servo link so that it is kind of shorter, and then if it's in the same position, it's going to bump your steering out and out and out. So that's kind of what a panhard does on the front too, so that it can't go side to side. I mean, it's not the best explanation, but it helps. That's all I can say. And tires on here, I don't even know. Baja claws? Yeah, these are the big Baja claws, not like the... They have two versions. One's a scale version, I think the other one's a TTC version. These are the big ones. These wheels are Genefac. I got them from Genefac. I can't remember what brand they are, but they're just cheap plastic 1.9s, but they work fantastic. I think I paid like $10 for the whole set of them, and they just work great. I've only had a bead fall out of them once, and I mean they just keep on trucking. I don't even remember they're there most of the time. The rock rails, that's where I put my batteries. That's why these are here, just to keep the battery out of the spur, as well as to hold the battery. These are steel rock rails. I got my brother to weld those up. He's a welder. He's just got some flat plate here, and then a couple of outs and across, and They work great. Again, also the front and rear bumpers, I bent those up myself. It was pretty easy. I just used some flat bar and bent them, and yeah, it takes a little bit of work and some measuring and some figuring out, but it was alright. Same with the front bumper. I bent that around as well. Conforms to the body pretty good. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's just to protect the truck, really. I don't have a full machine shop. I don't have all these fancy equipment. I don't have benders or anything like that, so I just use my hands and my vise and get what I get. I mean, it's not perfect, but it gets me out there having fun on the trails and out with the guys for a good trail run. So that's my trail truck. Yeah, I think that's it.